Ani, Bojo, Kwekwe, Tanzi, Scano. It's Catherine and Brian from Moonstarlodge in a very smoky central Ontario, Canada, bringing a reading for the week of July 20th to the 26th inclusive. We are well into the moon cycle of She Who Heals, and I've posted a separate video about that last week. Her full moon is on the 29th, so that's not this week, but the next week. We move into Taurus, though, this week. Sorry, not Taurus, Leo. Oh, my. We move into Leo this week, and that's on the 23rd, so that's part of this week. It's the next week that we have Lamas, which happens on the 1st and 2nd, so that's the midsummer point. It's also called Lugnasad, but we'll deal with that next week. So we're moving into Leo, and that's the excitement, and the full moon is the next week. Anyway, enough of that. So the cards this week, my first awareness was, ooh, I can't bring this reading to people. They'll be scared. I was scared. And then I had to kind of ground myself a little bit and say, just stop. There's reasons for these cards. So if you haven't already got a beverage, and not an alcoholic one, let's go through this together and recognize the value in these wild cards. The central main deck is the Infinite Door. This is a lovely deck, and I don't use it often enough on screen. It's a fairly new deck. It was new, I think, in the latter part of 2025. Anyway, Brian, let's go to the cards. So the significator is the Wheel of Fortune. And if I just stopped at the first couple of cards, I'd go, uh-oh. But I was jumping ahead when I did that, because the Wheel of Fortune is a major arcana deck, and the decision of whether it's a movement forward or a movement retrograde or backwards depends on the cards around it. And so when I see that the clarifier is the Five of Pentacles, which is a sense of deep disconnection and deep loss, I asked Spirit to clarify, does that mean that's the sign that this is going not in our favor? And it was a whoa, whoa, whoa. We get what we bring in. So the clarifier here, this is the ancestor card position, and the ancestors are warning us to really start reframing where we feel left out, not connected to source, not connected to community, perhaps family. There's a sense here of perspective. So if something is good, we've chosen to have a positive perspective on it and bring the kind of energy we have the power to bring into a situation. We are the source of our good and our downfall by our choices. So this is very much choice-centered spirituality this week, and a recognition that we have more power than we think we do. And we really do have the means to shape our destiny by the thoughts. So this is very much a wake up. The second card here is another 5. And it's the 5 of Swords. And this is if we come into the week with a sense of disconnection, it would be very easy to go to a place of power imbalance and try to force the situation to be more positive for us, to take from others, to be mean-spirited, to just shut doors and say, I've had enough of this. I'm doing what I want. I don't care what happens to anybody else. This is a warning. It is not what is coming. The reason I know that the Wheel of Fortune is switching to the positive side or beginning to gain momentum is that we have the Knight of Ankhs. And the Ankhs in this deck, these are made to look like Polaroids, and it's a deck about travel. It's called the Wild Lands Tarot, if you can see that. So the Ankhs are the mind and our connection to source and our ability to create our reality. So the Knight is saying, wait a minute, dude, this is, you know, I'm a court card here. I'm here to tell you that we create what we think about. So if we think we're sitting in our dirty diaper and, oh, woe is me, that's what we create. And he's saying, no, I'm here with you. And I have the capacity to help you not feel disconnected and not fight in a petty negative way to gain what you think you've lost. So moving forward to the third card is the World. So we are completing a karmic cycle, if you will. This is the last card in the major arcana. So this is not the place to go if we want the wheel here to catapult us to the end. So the Wheel of Fortune is number 10. This is number 21. So we're very quickly, and it may feel uncomfortable, and I think this is more a discomfort than it is negative action. So the World means that for the majority of us, the collective consciousness, and we are spiritually and to some degree hive mentality. So the quality of the collective is what propels the collective consciousness forward. So the clarifier from this beautiful deck by Vixen Mayhew, I just got this week, is the Ace of Wands. So it's a new, powerful beginning is incubating. Of course it is. We're at the end of one cycle. We are to be reminded that we are entering a new cycle, and none of these behaviors should be welcome in a new cycle. That's kind of the path of least resistance. We need to pick up our spiritual underpants here and move forward with this. So we're all going to be subjected to this new beginning, and that will come once we hit that beautiful full moon in the next week. So we're preparing for that. Here we have the Queen of Wands. And our queen is the life of the party, the most flamboyant, energetic protector of the inspiritus, the spirit inward. Can you let her through, Brian? She wants to get through. Sorry, we have puppy interrupt us here. Come on, Ode. That's a girl. The queen is saying not necessary to emulate her behavior, but to know that she's another court card that walks with us. This is an archetype, as Carl Jung would say. And she's reminding us with this Ace of Wands that we have new beginnings. No, that's not a photograph of me. The Queen of Wands is saying, look forward. Don't look behind. She is looking forward. All is well. All is pointing us to how we don't want to feel, because we have the choice here to feel something and see. We won't see what's good if we sit in despair. We have the Knight of Pentacles. I think the Knight of Pentacles, frankly, is my favorite knight. This is a good knight here. But this to me is the one that's on the draft horse, the big Clydesdale type, the one that sees the land, knows the land, understands the land, and has the perspective of patience, knows exactly where he's going. Interestingly, he's also facing forward, as is the Queen of Swords here. Anyway, so we've got this slow and steady. Don't rip the plants out of there. Dig up the seeds that you've planted to see if they're growing. Be patient and know that we are evolving. This is a huge evolution. And it's important that we take care of it and be patient with it, as much as it might be easy to fall into despair. The clarifier here is grounding. Well, nobody is more grounded here than this Knight of Pentacles. There's a maturity here with these beings in spirit. That's important. Really, really important in this time. There is so much chaos, and I acknowledge that there's chaos in the world. How dreadful it is for those First Nations communities north of us who've lost everything and had no help to leave with their lives. I get it. It's a difficult time externally, but we're not going to be able to cope until we can cope from an internal place. And that's exactly what the grounding asks us to do. Now we have the Queen of Swords. She's typically defined as an older, mature woman, possibly a widow. She takes no guff. She just off with their heads. If a situation requires clarity, she cuts away the crap. And that's the best thing I can say. Here feels very unclear. Here feels very stymied and sluggish, but she is fixing it, and she's still asking us to move forward. She's clarified by the King of Wands. So we've got the Queen of Wands. Look at all these court cards, all these archetypal energies that we have at our beck and call. And it's followed by a card that I normally don't like to see. It's the Nine of Swords. And this suggests nightmare fuel, that we feel that the changes that are coming are frightening. Again, that's a perspective of somebody who has slid backwards. You see, this person is facing backwards. It's not that. We need not fear anything. We are protected. It's only when we are disconnected from Source, Spirit, Creator, God, the great mystery, when we feel really that we aren't part of the great web, which is this, that we feel alone and terrified with change. But this little card, the smallest deck. Brian, can you pass me the little box here? Yeah. I got this deck on a whim. It's by Athene Noctua, the Witch's Familiar Runic Oracle. If you're ever on the Hay House website, grab it. It's beautiful. The card that's clarifying this terror is Dagaz. And Dagaz is butterfly. Butterfly is, let me read to you what butterfly is in the runic tradition here. Change is dynamic and dramatic. Who could imagine the stunning butterfly would spring from the little caterpillar? As the delicate butterfly unfurls its new wings, a new day dawns, and they are granted a new and higher awareness than they could have previously ever imagined. Below, their cocoon hangs in the place where the before and after meet. Dagaz has a beautiful, brilliant, light-filled energy. It represents the awakening and clarity that daylight brings. When this rune appears, there is hope and happiness, bold change, and a new beginning. It is a good time to start something new. Dagaz refers to a daily cycle in contrast to longer, gentler time periods, like Jera's year cycle. Dagaz also speaks of balancing opposite forces such as light and dark, mental and emotional, masculine and feminine, and doubt and certainty. The key words for this card are breakthrough, awakening, enlightenment, balance point, and transformation. So we go from the dark of a troubled night into the clarity of a new day. You can flip the camera, Brian. So perhaps you can see why I found this at first blush, without thinking it through, to be a troubling read. But it speaks of old patterns, old shadow patterns. We all have them. We can't live without them. Shadow can be diminished and not have as an important place in our lives in terms of how it controls us if we work with it. But these are reflex behaviors, fighting with people and feeling left out and dejected. When we get into those patterns, it's cyclical. This kind of dark night of the soul, it's cyclical. And hopefully we don't have them too often. The balancing point is recognizing that we are all connected to spirit, however we define that, the universe, the cosmic consciousness. So as we move into Leo this week, and all good things are coming, we wish you blessings and peace and prayers for those who have lost so much up north. And may we all know love. Aho.